If you're thinking about selling your home in the spring or summer of 2026, what you do before you list matters more than anything that happens after. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 most important things you should be doing now if you want to sell this spring or summer. Welcome to Wilton Report. My name is Josh Wilton. I co-own and run the #1 boutique real estate company in Central New Jersey. I've helped thousands of people buy and sell real estate in this market, and I use that experience to help you make smarter and more profitable decisions. By the end of this video, you'll know what to do now, and so what not to do so you're ready for spring 2026 or summer 2026. Okay, first things first. This isn't HGTV, right? But staging matters. How your house looks matters. What is staging? Staging is the art of getting your house ready to sell. So what does that mean? How you live in the house is not how you want to sell it. People do not want to see your dishcloths. They don't want to see your family photos. More importantly, you don't want to have them see your family photos because it costs you money. So staging is the art, and it is an art because these people are professionals. They are sort of like short-term interior decorators. They come into your house, and I have a team of them. They come into your house, they look at your house, and they say, okay, we need to do this, this, and this to maximize your profit. So the cost for this is about $2,000 to $6,000. When I do list houses, I do contribute towards that cost, just so you know. So depending on the home size, it's about $2,000 to $6,000. And the profit, I would say anywhere from 5 to 15%. There's a house actually in Montgomery Township. I told him if he didn't stage it, we'd list it at $999. If he did stage it and he spent $50,000 in staging and it was a lot of work, we listed it for $1,299,000 and we sold it in the high 1.3s. So I can tell you definitively, he made $200,000 by spending $50,000 staging his house just this past year. So the other part of staging that's important is the psychology. When people are looking for a house, they're looking for a new start. They're looking for a place where they're going to put down roots. And what they don't want to think about are the problems that are coming with them, right? So 81% of the people that see a house that's staged, it's easier for them to visualize moving in. And that's the game. As you're a seller, you want people in your front door. That's number one. And number two, you want them to visualize moving in, not looking at your pictures from your kids' high school graduation. So I would say, again, the statistic I would point out to, conservatively 5 to 10% higher sale price for staged homes versus non-staged homes. Number two, if you can, if you're selling your house, move out first, then put your house in the market. Not necessary, so just a little easier. So the house I just referenced in Montgomery, they hadn't moved out. They stayed in it. We did all the work with them, and we painted the entire house. We put in floors, we put in new carpets. That all happened while we're there. That took place over months. If you can move out, it can be done faster, right? Because the crews can come in to stage it depending what needs to be done. And it allows us to completely stage the property. So again, the first 10 days of staging is winning that contract within the first 10 days. A vacant home allows for instant back-to-back showings without the 2-hour window. I have to take the dog out, all that stuff. So if you have the opportunity to move out, do it. I 100% realize that it's not always possible, but it does allow for maximum exposure, and your house sells in direct proportion to the number of people that see it, both online and in person. So the less inhibited people are about getting in, dogs, kids, schools, pickup, the faster it's going to sell, the more money you're going to make. We can obviously manage it if you still have to live in the house. Most people do, but if you have that small advantage of moving out first, you'll make more money than your neighbor will. The third thing is, how do you hack the algorithm as a seller? Like, everyone talks algorithm, everyone talks AI. The one thing I will tell you, in addition to a lot of the other marketing that we do, I do pay for Zillow Showcase. So what is it? It's a premium listing tier, right? Consumers in this area, if you poll 10 people, 9.9 start their search right on Zillow. It is what it is. So what I do is I was selected and I pay Zillow to have your house, right, appear more prominently on Zillow. It's an interactive 3D floor plan. It's an interactive 3D tour. And here's what's interesting. Showcase homes get 81% more views and 80% more saves than standard listings do. So if you're working with a listing agent, right, how do you hack the algorithm? You hack Zillow. So again, Showcase homes are 20% more likely to go into contract within the first 14 days. Staging, right? Prep being really important here. So days on market is the enemy of price. Just remember that. You don't want to be lingering on the market. The faster you sell, the more money you make. So how do you hack the algorithm? We work on Zillow Showcase together. So the other thing too is that, it is 2026. You're watching this on a video. If your house doesn't have a professional video on YouTube and have a social media strategy for your house is the product. The launch happens the first day you put it on the market, if not a week before, right? So professional listing videos drive 403% more inquiries. But when you pair them up with an interactive 3D tour, like a Zillow 3D, a Matterport, engagement skyrockets. And again, I'm going to say this a lot in this video, your home sells in direct proportion to the number of people that see it online and then when they come in the door. So the video sells the emotion. It allows us to tell the story of your house, the sunlight in the morning room, the killer bathroom that you put in, the killer kitchen that you put in, the proximity to the school. That all gets explained in the video. That's where the story of your house gets told. You can't tell that in a static photo, right? The 3D tour is the logic place, right? So if the video is the vibe, the 3D tour is the logic. They can measure their couch on the 3D tour. They can measure their couch on the interactive floor plan. So you want to have both playing in your favor as a seller, and then you dominate the algorithm because listings with 3D tours receive 87% more views on platforms than houses that don't have it. So you have to have it if you're a seller in 2026. So in 2026, many buyers, up to 54%, will actually skip listings that don't have a 3D walkthrough. Why? Because it's a massive investment and they want to see it before they come into it physically. So if I live in New York City, in Brooklyn, I'm going to walk through your house in Brooklyn before I drive to Mercer County, Somerset County, Middlesex County to see it, right? The other thing too is the social reach. You have to have a 60-second high energy reel on social where it tells the story of your house. Is it close to the schools? Is it close to the train? Is it the lot? Is it the premium lot in the community? Every house has a story to tell. Our job is not just to post photos online, it's to bring buyers in. How do you bring buyers in? You hack the algorithm, have great digital tools, video, and tell the story of the property. The other thing too is, I always say this, you have to know the 9 things that determine the value of your home. I'm not going to share what they are because they're mine. They're proprietary to me in my 20 years experience in this market. I've broken down value for buyers and sellers to 9 things. Now, there's some nuance to that, schools, right, et cetera, but there are 9 definitive data points that determine the value of your home. As a seller, you need to know what that is, right? And I'll explain why. If you overprice your house, if you choose to have an aspirational price on your house, call it the hope and prayer strategy, right? I hope to God somebody's willing to pay me this price, even though it's not worth it, right? You're pricing at the absolute ceiling or above the comps, right? So when an appraiser comes out, they're going to go, this house isn't worth it. The buyer may not have the data points that an appraiser has, but there will be a disconnect with the consumer base. So what you're looking for is a needle in a stack of needle type of buyers, right? So what does that mean? You're going to be on the market a lot longer, probably 100 plus days. You're going to reduce it and you will eventually net less money than if you put it on at the right price. And there are data points to look that up. You can Google Auto Research, OTT, EAU, right? The Auto Report in New Jersey. He's an appraiser. He's done study after study after study that aspirational or the hope and prayer strategy does not work for net profit for a seller. The next style of pricing is called market-based pricing. So if it's worth $5, you put it on for $5. What does that mean? It means you're going to get an offer, maybe 2, right? You don't have as much negotiating leverage as you do if you had a little bit of a lower price. We'll talk about that. So again, you'll get traffic. You'll get a lot of people through their first weekend. You'll be very hopeful. Oh my God, we had 20 people at the open house, and maybe you don't get an offer the first week. What does that mean, right? You're just a little bit above market. You're at the market. Market-based pricing strategy usually results in 1, maybe 2 offers. And, you know, you don't have as much leverage as a seller. You're not going to get the best terms. You're not going to get the best profit. You're not going to get your closing date. The buyer, you're giving leverage to the buyer with aspirational or market-based pricing. So the last pricing model that I'll talk about is event-based or party pricing. It's basically the bidding war strategy. And it takes courage. I don't discount the courage it takes for a seller to understand this, because everything in life is a gamble, right? But you're gambling with equity here. So what you do is you have a pre-marketing strategy a week or two before your house comes on the market. The launch starts, the video rolls, the social story starts. We tell the neighbors, we tell other brokers, right? The word starts to get out that your house is coming to the market. And in a low inventory environment, right, that's important. So it's that pre-strategy. It comes on the market. It's worth $5. We put it on at $4.75. So you've had a promotion. We're telling the product story. There's video, right? There's 3D. Everything's happening. There's a digital ad campaign on this property. So people are seeing it. People are clicking on it. You have an open house the first weekend or two. Why would I want to have an open house? Because your house sells in direct proportion to the number of people that see it. Our job as brokers is to get buyers in. It's to tell the story, have a great campaign, get people online to look at it, save it, come to the open house or with their agent or with us. So if you price it at $475, it's worth $5. You've had a launch, you've had a launch party, which is the open house, right? Buyers are going to scramble and they're going to move faster because they want to be part of it. They know it's not going to sell at $475. They're just going to hope and pray that they can be part of the bidding, right? Usually what you'll find is that it'll sell at $501 or $502. Market brace, you're probably going to sell at $5. Aspirational or the hope and prayer strategy, you'll sell at $475 150 days later. So again, that house in Montgomery that I talked about, we staged it, listed at $1,299,000. And I told him it was going to sell in the 1.3s. 10 offers later, he picked the second highest bid, right? And he was able to stay in the house a little bit longer than not. So it's all how you want to get to the closing table. The market's the market. You're always going to end up at the market price. It's how stylistically you want to get there. That's what pricing does for your market. So if you're thinking of selling in spring 2026 or summer of 2026 or even fall 2026, now is the time to start working. The work starts now, not when you list. I'm Josh Wilton, and this is the Wilton Report. I'll see you next time.